morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining Chicago Now. I think everybody's happy to be here because it's Friday. And this is Brian Jackson's first time joining us on the show. Yeah, give that a round of applause. We have a jam-packed show today. I'm happy that you're joining me, so this will be a good time. We're going to talk to an author. What did you say? I'm sorry. We're always talking about all kinds of stuff, but we're going to talk to an author who I think is really interesting. It's like a really crazy story about a car that was stolen and all of this other stuff, a really expensive car. It's like a true crime story that plays out in a book. And then we're going to talk to Malnati's, but first we got to talk about our really esteemed guest that we have with us today.
Of course, you know, Chicago's breeding ground for music. We got everything. ChicagoNOW performing this weekend too.
Yes, I know that. Are you going?
City. Maybe. Yeah. I think 79th Street Festival, but we got two hometown powerhouses that taking that music legacy to the next level.
Yes.
Joined by John Monopoly, who helped, of course, discover the one and only Kanye West.
Yes.
Worked alongside Virgil Abloh and Greg Beef Jones, of course, in the city's creative scene. They teamed up to launch what they're calling Hustle.Distribution.
Yes.
An artist-owned platform being called Chicago's answer to the major label system. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So break this down for us. How does this work? Because we've heard a lot of these popular artists that we listen to today always talk about, you know, I want my masters, I want to own my music, and it seems like a constant debate in the music industry. What does your platform do that maybe some of these major labels don't do?
Well, Hustle.Distribution offers the answer to artists wanting to, like you said, return ownership of their masters. When I was coming up in the game, I just turned 50 a couple weeks ago, but when I was in my 20s, me and all my counterparts were always going to New York and LA, trying to forge relationships with major labels, because that's what at the time we were kind of taught to do. But the younger generation, the new guys coming out, aren't so excited about giving up all of their rights to a major. They want to say, hey, we want to retain our ownership and keep our rights to ourselves, and develop a platform or partner with platforms where we can just distribute our music to all the DSPs, the digital streaming platforms, and own all of our music instead of, you know, giving our stuff away. So we become a home for people that want to retain their ownership and just looking for digital distribution.
And it's Hustle period.
Hustle period.
Because I was saying die. I confused Brian with that.
Hustle period. Hustle period.
I love that. Go ahead.
So when it comes to this, I guess, kind of new way of doing things, how has it been received so far?
I mean, just amazing, especially for people from Chicago. Beef is from New York, and we connected in New York 25 years ago when I was out there working with Violator, but it's the new thing, not only for Chicagoans, but for people all over, are, you know, retaining their rights. So it's been received very well.
And if you see right now, like, you see the way technology has moved in and made, like, being able to be an artist and a creator very equitable across everything, because everybody has access to the same tools. And now it's more about getting with the right teams and being able to own your own IP and exploit it in a way where you can actually feed yourself and support your career, rather than relying on a major institution or corporation that you will be indebted to for years to come, and then eventually be able to get out of contracts. It will take forever, you know, and it'll cost you a lot of money to do that. But now you have to be able to retain all your ownership and your rights and put yourself in a situation where you can grow and then license your stuff out if you want to go to the next level, but retaining ownership and control. And that's where we start.
Yeah, I like that you touched on the finances there. How do the finances for you guys' company compare to maybe somebody trying to be discovered by one of the big record labels?
I'll let you touch on that.
Well, I mean, what it is like, we're just a distribution company, you know? I mean, there's going to always be a special artist here and there that we take interest in, and then we have a more invested, more invested into that career, and we'll provide more resources. But it's about, you know, taking ownership of the city. It's about the spirit of the city. Even though I'm from New York, I've been coming to Chicago since the 90s, and it's always a unique city. It's like the hotbed of the culture. And you've had these different waves, from the Crucial Conflict to Common, and then you have Kanye, then you have Keith, and then Dirk, and then you have G Herbo, and then you have a little Osama, and then you see these generations go, but they go to LA, they go to New York, and it seems like it feels like everybody leaves the city, and then by the time they come back, it's like you know, they're already superstars, you know.
Right.
But what about here? Here, this is one of the most dynamic cities, one of the most beautiful cities. I mean, I'm from New York, and I love Chicago. Like, it's cleaner than New York, you know. And
Yes, it is.
It's the luxury here is top tier. It's a top tier experience, and also you have the hotbed of culture in the South and the West Side, which is, you know, a very, very black cultural hub. And there's so much history that we could tap into, and it's even across different genres, of like the Chosen Few and Wayne Williams and Chicago house history, and it's just too much here to want to just leave the city and not reinvest into it.
That's a good point. Go ahead. I'm sorry, John.
And to touch on what he was saying, to your original question, our splits are comparable to any other distro platform in the world, to be honest. We're very aggressive with making sure that the artist or the label that they represent, their independent platform that they are part of, gets the lion's share of what the split would be. So we compete with all the other big boys out there.
Now, you mentioned distribution, if you don't mind me jumping.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you explain to our viewers what exactly that means, and how does that work in terms of getting radio airplay or videos that people see on YouTube and things of that nature? How exactly does the distribution work?
Sure. So basically, we have what's termed as pipes. We have the same pipes that distribute your music to all the different DSPs all throughout the world. Now, a lot of people, when they think of streaming, they think of Spotify, Apple Music, or Tidal. But they don't really know that if you travel the world, there are over 100 different DSPs globally that distribute music. So it's not all about just the top 3. It's about the top 103. So we distribute your music to all of those platforms and basically make your content available everywhere the music is heard, okay? Now, when you talk about what you just said, radio and video and all that, so we're just distribution. If you get a little action or emotion, as they say, we have label services that will support you from a marketing standpoint to help you promote your music at radio, to help you promote your music on the online platforms that provide videos, YouTubes, things of that nature. But at our core, we're here to make sure that your music is available all over the world.
Let me ask you this, because when I'm not in your space, right? I listen to music, but I'm not the person behind music. So I listen to, you know, all these big names that we know who are now with some of these bigger labels, right? Are there any independent artists that were independent, but we know them, they've become blow up stars?
I mean, the model for independence I look at is somebody like an artist named Russ, who started independently and built such an audience and the loyal fan base that there was such a demand by the major system to do a deal with him, because he controlled amount of influence. And it's like that when there's an independent artist that creates away from themselves and they sort of build their own fan base and their own culture, and then the label is a partner. It's just a distribution pipeline for all that culture that they have and access to the audience. So if you understand where we're headed towards marketing and everything, it's really about controlling or being able to get the right messaging to your audience, and then becomes like a loop. So the right messaging goes to your audience is locked in, that in turn goes into them pouring into your brand, and it becomes a cycle, and then you start then looking at other opportunities like CPG, consumer product goods, and being able to sell t-shirts or experiences, or to create member rewards and points and give them unique opportunities and stuff like that, where, you know, everybody will be further engaged, and it will only spread the word of your artistry and your brand. And that's how you really capitalize in 2025 and beyond.
Now, I know.
I want to say too,
Okay,
real quick,
go ahead.
Another artist that you want to also take note of that you may not know that's independent is from Chicago, Chance the Rapper. He never did a record deal.
Right.
He's been independent since day one, but because he's such a big act with big features and big hits, you might think he's with a major, but he's always been an independent.
I got to ask you this. This is where I get a little crazy in the show, and I ask questions that are a little off the cuff. What is the craziest story that you've had? Because you've been in the music game for a very long time, connected not just with music, but fashion too. What is the craziest story that you have that maybe you've encountered during your time doing this, that you can tell on TV?
Yeah.
Family show.
Family show. So the first world tour with Kanye, there was a after party we did in Italy.
I got to sit up out of my seat for this one.
Yeah, it was an after party in Italy, and somehow it was connected to. I don't want to say it was like a they were connected. I'll put it that way. The guys that we were doing the party with, they were connected, and we didn't know, what it was about and what it was. It was our first time in Italy, and it was really good time, and the people were very nice and whatever. But the guy who connected us to the connected crew did something weird and got kind of crazy, and we ended up having to get out of Italy pretty quickly, and it was getting a little hectic.
When you say get out of here, you mean like an hour, like 30 minutes? You had to get on the jet?
Yeah, we had to get on the jet and get out of there. We went to Romania or something. Shout out to Chris, my man who set up the party. Yeah.
Romania.
Yeah, we had to get up out of there quick. But that was probably the craziest story that's PG.
Yeah, for TV.
Yeah.
How is Kanye doing? I know you still have a relationship. You're very close.
Yeah,
How's he doing? Any new music coming up?
He has some amazing new stuff coming out soon. He's doing a lot better. We all have challenges.
Yes,
you know what I mean? We all go through things. I go through things, right? It is what it is. But, when you have family and friends around you that love you, as long as you can, hold on to some people that really are there for you, ultimately, through prayer and just, making sure that you're diligent about self-care, anything can be handled and dealt with. So we appreciate all the love and support from the city. And that's my brother. I'll never leave his side. So we talk all the time.
Any artists that are watching right now, maybe this is the first time that they've heard of Hustle Period Distribution. How can they find out more about it?
Hustle, the word hustle, traditional spelling, period, P-E-R-I-O-D, traditional, distribution.com. And then you can just email us from there.
Okay.
Are you guys looking for any particular type of artist?
No.
Anybody?
No, it's not just hip hop or R&B or urban. We're looking for just hit makers in whatever category.
Do you feel like there is, or maybe there's a few rising stars in Chicago that people haven't heard about? Because I know you mentioned the South and West Side. We got a drill rap scene here too.
Yeah, there's a kid. You want me to name names?
You can name them, sure.
Sure, yeah. I love this kid, Rufus Sims, from the West Side, that one of our A&Rs, Jordan, turned us on to. I still feel like it's something there with King Louis. He never really got his true shine and true shot. There's actually a bunch of guys that I really like, but those are the two that are like, to me, out of the tipping point. They're right there. They're just one hit away. So,
I know you're born and raised in Chicago, right?
Southside,
why do you think that so many artists, kind of like what Beef said, I don't like calling you Beef, I like calling you by your real name, but your nickname is cool too. Why do you think so many artists feel the need to flee Chicago?
I think, well, first, we're kind of been trained to go elsewhere to get on.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we're bringing a distro platform here, so that they don't have to go anywhere to get on. So that's the first thing. Excuse me. That's the first thing. And then, a lot of times when you see these artists become successful in the city, they become targets. And,
True. Yeah.
How can I say this? Because I love my city. Right. I love the city. Whenever I get a chance to come home, I always get excited. But there are still some challenges here around what's going on, not just on the South and West Side. A friend of mine's bar got some issues not too long ago because of some violence.
Yeah.
And there's just so much going on that it's just a little challenging, I would say, for these guys when they become so successful to stay home. So
yeah, so many eyes on you.
Yeah, you just become a target, unfortunately. And not that you're not a target in New York or LA and Atlanta or Miami, it's just a different culture, a different it just hits different, because in those places, for whatever reason, like LA and Miami specifically, it's more common
Right.
for you to be African American and wear a certain amount of jewelry or drive a certain kind of car. It's not, you don't become so much of a target.
That's true.
You know, and it's unfortunate, but it's just true. So.
What would you say, both of you, maybe sets Chicago artists apart from the other people from LA, from New York, from Miami, and even down south? What makes Chicago artists,
different,
I guess, unique in their own way?
We just the best ever, man.
It's true.
It is what it is. I mean, I would say, I mean, if you look at a Common or a Lupe or a Kanye or a Crucial or a Do or Die or Psychodrome, I mean, there's so many just amazing talent, amazing talent just from here that I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm a Chicagoan and I'm biased, but
well,
you said it too, though. But
I'm giving a point from an outsider perspective. I think it's not only generational, but I think it's in the DNA that goes back decades. You know, because there always was a call to go to Chicago. Like the Southern Delta blues musicians would hit the highway, the blues highway, to go to Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Everybody from the South would go target Chicago. There's an energy here that comes from the spirit of the Deep South that is purely American, and it's his own. Like no disrespect to any other city, because I'm from New York. I'm a diehard New Yorker.
We hear it.
But but you know, New York has changed because over the years there've been so many integration of different cultures that always kind of you know, are inserted into the black community, and then you know it's great. You know, we got, you know, our Oxtail communities and our Jollof communities and our, you know, Birria Taco communities, and they all get mixed up in everything. But then that what made everything so kind of unique as an experience, from a uniquely black experience, gets a little bit, not diluted, but gets like a little bit infused with other cultures, and you started missing that. But here, there's something about the Midwest and the South that have that. So you have like a place like Atlanta that has that culture, but they have their icons in there, and they're there, and they move around the city, and they collaborate with each other. That is not here like that, but that's what it needs, and it needs that because that's where the energy is. It's like a purely black American experience in Chicago of success and wealth and entrepreneurism that's here. You see it.
It's true.
You know, it's the only place I really go where I drive by and I see $500,000 cars, and I look and it's a brother, and he's chocolate, you know what I'm saying? And he looks just like me, and he's doing real well, and he just flies by, and then half hour later, here comes another one, and another, and it's just like, man, you see such beautiful, industrious women who are really about it, and they really have companies and stuff, but it's here. And that's what I feel like it needs to be spread. It needs to be more poured into. We need to pour more resources into it locally.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have said a lot. It's been a pleasure talking to you. One more time before we go, they told us we got to wrap. Where can people go to find out more? One more time.
Hustle.distribution.com. All traditional spelling.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate you guys' time.
We have a whole lot more coming up on Chicago Now. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Chicago Now. You better work. Yes, we are talking to Sasha Colby doing the Strip 2 tour, which is coming to Chicago, a 30-city North American tour in partnership with Live Nation. If that name sounds familiar to you, that's because she was the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, and now she's hitting the road again. Can you hear me, Sasha? Thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, Tia. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Thanks for having me.
So good.
Thank you so much.
Yes, good morning to you. So you're doing this 30-city tour. You're coming to Chicago. What can people see if they come out to your show?
Well, we had a really great turnout last time at Talia Hall. Like, I used to actually live in Hawaii. Sorry, I'm from Hawaii, but I used to live in Chicago from like 2006 to 2012. So a lot of Halsted Street and working at the Baton is kind of my old stomping ground. So it was really fun to have everybody back there last year, and I'm excited to be back at the Talia Hall. And there's just such a great venue, and it's really like a nice reunion to see all my friends and a lot of great Drag Race fans.
Since you've been here and you said you used to live in Chicago, got to ask you, what do you miss the most about Summertime Shy?
You know, I was just there for market days. I missed the 3 months that is just so beautiful there. Everyone's out, everyone's having a great time. I love the music festivals, the food festivals, but really just being at the lake, honestly, getting some tan and people watching is always great.
Is there a #1 restaurant that you must go to every time you touch down in Chicago? Or is there a #1 food that you feel like you must have?
Gosh, like what do I usually do? Oh my gosh.
I got you caught up on
like
this.
I definitely need like the Wiener Circle dog. I need a Chicago dog or a Portillo's. But yeah, I think Portillo's would have to do it.
Do you put ketchup on your hot dogs?
I do it the Chicago way.
Okay, good.
Got the
Good.
Chicago
Good
dog.
answer.
Good answer. Good answer. All right. So your first solo tour was a huge success. What have you maybe changed or maybe kind of taken from that one that you're applying to this time around?
Yes, we are. So this is Strip 2. Last year we did Stripped, the first iteration, which was pretty much like a story about my life from a young kid to growing up and being on Drag Race and ending up winning. And now it's not so like a literal storytelling of my life, but more just kind of like this escape worlds and fantasy and a lot of fun ways to imagine different different like female archetypes we're playing with. We're playing with like the goddess and the femme fatale and the siren. And so all of these things that my drag persona embodies are all the things that the audience can tap into in their everyday life.
You know, Sasha, we've had some artists on the show before that kind of talked about their childhood and kind of navigating, finding themselves in a world that may not be accepting. Was that your story? And then how did you arrive at just being okay with being who you are?
It's always an uphill battle when you're discovering who you are and realizing who you are is not what is the conventional norm to a lot of people. But I found like when you find your chosen, like your gang, your tribe, your chosen family, a lot of us in the queer community call it, to get community and a lot of support really helps you figure out who you are. And, nowadays it's just wild how Drag Race has allowed a lot of people who wouldn't have access to drag to really normalize it. And it's all over the world. It's in so many different countries. And as something that started off as a very fringe art form for queer people, seeing it be mainstream is amazing because it shows that drag is, at the end of the day, just art and storytelling.
I love that.
You're clearly living your best life, but you're also giving local drag artists in the city a chance to share the stage with you. Why did you feel it was so important to make that a part of your show?
I think it was important because I've benefited from those opportunities. I've been really, really blessed to have the career that I've had pre-Drag Race. And it's all due to a lot of people that I would look up to that gave me opportunities on stage, gave me an opportunity to be in their show. And as a way of paying back, I wanted to showcase artists that are from that city. But also, I want to see some good drag too, so gotta be entertained as well.
Let me ask you this, because I'm always the wild card between whoever sits in this seat with me. What is the wildest thing that you've encountered when you've gone on tour?
The wildest thing would have to be last tour. We were in Portland, and some people had snuck in the back to my dressing room, and it was like kind of wild. This like a little crazy stalker kind of like vibes. It felt really weird. Luckily, we're all safe, but yeah, that was something that doesn't happen normally. So.
What did you do?
Security.
Yeah,
I don't know. They lied and got through. It was so weird, and then it was wild.
Yeah, that
Portland's
sounds
wild.
Now, on the flip side of that, when things aren't wild, what do you like to do in your downtime to kind of just relax in between events?
I'm a big nerd, so I like listening to like a lot of weird podcasts. I mean, I call it weird, but I love it. Like anything about history, it's just something that I like to completely forget about drag, and it's something that I can just kind of fantasize and kind of lose myself in. So yeah, I like a lot of like random history podcasts.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a random question because it is pumpkin season. Everything pumpkin,
PSL.
pumpkin latte, pumpkin pie. Do you like pumpkin? Do you like pumpkin spice lattes? Is that your thing? Do you even drink coffee?
I'm a one coffee in the morning kind of gal, so I'm not like I need to have coffee all the time. One's good. I'm not a pumpkin spice latte girl, but I do like a good pumpkin. And in Hawaii, we make this it's like a gooey, it's like a pumpkin mochi. So it's like a kind of like this hybrid of like an Asian and Hawaiian dessert that we made pumpkin flavored. So that's always yummy during Thanksgiving.
And what was it like? You grew up in Hawaii?
I did.
What
Born
was
and
it
raised
like
in
growing
Hawaii.
up there?
I mean, it's paradise.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful place. I grew up with the mountains since my backyard, and my front yard was the ocean. And I never really appreciated it until I moved to the continental U.S. and was able to really understand, like, wow, I grew up in paradise.
What would you say to someone that may be watching right now? Maybe they didn't even know you had a show. Why they should come out to your show in October?
If you love art and if you love to have a good time, I suggest coming to my show. But honestly, in the crazy world that we live in right now, with so many things going on in the world, it's a lot. It's fighting for our rights and fighting to be heard and fighting to be humans. And in all this fight, I feel like this show is a great way to also take time and rest and recharge and celebrate, so we can have more energy to keep going.
Yeah,
And
very well said.
tell our viewers exactly when and where the show is here in Chicago again.
Oh my gosh, let me look.
It's
I
October
believe
10th.
it is.
It's October 10th.
October 10th.
We got you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yes, at the Talia Hall. Go get your tickets now. It's on my website or at Live Nation or at Ticketmaster.com.
I'm not letting you go yet. I got another question. So anybody,
Okay.
I used to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and I did watch it when you were on there. I saw what was going on camera. What kind of stuff happens when those cameras turn off? Are there any like crazy things that you can tell us that maybe the average person watching would have no idea is happening?
God, I wish I had some good stories, but they're so strict with us not talking when the cameras aren't rolling. There's they call it hard ice. So that's when you have to be frozen and no one can talk because they want to save everything for the camera, productions. But the one thing that I can say was all the fun things or all the fun sayings that Rue would say while she was off, while the camera wasn't rolling. Rue would really give us random pieces of advice and just talking about production or about how to handle what to do with money when you finally come into it when the show ends, and how to, I don't know, just kind of really good wisdom, nuggets of wisdom, which was really cool.
Was there any big purchase that you made? Once you did come into some money, was there this one thing, I gotta have this one thing?
No, I don't have, I didn't make a big, what I did do is upgrade my home.
Okay.
Okay.
I definitely wanted to make my home
Feel like home.
a place where I can relax.
Yeah.
And just a place to really sit in my rest of my laurels.
Yeah. Well, I love it. You have a great personality. You see people on TV
Lighten
and you're
up on the camera, for
I think
sure.
they'll be nice, and you proved it. You are. And I hope you have a great show here in Chicago.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see everyone out there.
All right, we can't wait to
Appreciate
see
your
you.
time.
Thanks for joining us.
All right.
All right,
Bye-bye.
see you next time. Okay, so next we are talking all things cheese. This is going to be really, really good. We'll have it coming up right after this break. We'll be right back. We got to give Brian Jackson a round of applause for joining us for the first show. Yes, he was amazing. He has some other stuff that he has to do in the newsroom. So I am all alone now. But joining me is Staten Bonner, who is talking about this true crime book about, it really sounds like a Hollywood movie when you really look at it. A $7 million French masterpiece of a car vanishes. And Staten really has a long history of being really in this space, a former Rolling Stone and GQ editor. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thanks so much for having me.
Let's talk about this book. How did you even find out about this story? Because this is a true story.
Yeah, it's all true. It was in my 20 years as an investigative journalist. It was the most amazing story I'd ever come across. Basically, it's like White Lotus meets James Bond meets Fast and Furious. In 2001, in the middle of the night, 3 thieves broke into a plastics mogul's private garage in Milwaukee, just up the road from everyone here in Chicago, and stole a $7 million car. Disappeared in the night, took all the paperwork, took everything. It was gone. And then years later, a detective in Miami gets a call from a mechanic in the French Alps saying, I know where this stolen car is located. And that kicked off this international hunt for this car that involved the FBI, involved Interpol, and brought 2 former friends against each other in this battle. And, you know, it really also just goes into this deeper underbelly of this high-end world with multi-million-dollar cars and competitions in Lake Como and Pebble Beach, but this criminal underbelly just underneath. And that's really the heart of the story of the book.
So a $7 million car vanishes out of Milwaukee, oddly enough. That's not a car you can just drive around. People wouldn't notice that. Did you ever find out, you know, during your research that they were driving this car? And then how did it make it all the way to France?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yes, the car can be driven, but you know what's interesting is, and that's a beautiful picture of the car,
it
is these vehicles have become one of the most valuable pieces of art in the world in the last few years, rare cars. Like, so basically, just like you have Picasso's, Basquiat's, all of this high-end artwork, these rare collectible cars, a car maybe driven by, you know, Steve McQueen in the movie Bullet, or maybe one of the first Ferraris raced at Le Mans. Very rare cars have now become highly sought-after collectible, selling for tens of millions of dollars. And what happens is typically very wealthy people purchase them and, you know, restore them into their vintage, you know, original condition, original pieces, putting horsehair in the seats, getting them pristine, and then actually driving them. But just as with any world involving high-end art that's valuable, it also attracts thieves and forgers, and that's what happened here.
No, that's a good point, because even in Chicago, they're still in a Toyota. So that lets you know that if we're talking something even more high-end, I happen to drive a Toyota. If, you know, we're talking even more high-end, they'll steal that too. So I would imagine you were traveling all over the world, kind of following this story to write this book. Any unforgettable characters that you met along the way?
Yeah, there were so many. I mean, honestly, the detective at the heart of my story, Joe Ford, is a fascinating guy. You know, he is basically a broke, you know, he was an architect and he went to law school, and then he kind of traded in rare cars. But he has this very particular skill set of being able to find, if you have a stolen car, being able to retrieve it. And he has a daughter who's going blind. Is sadly, and so he has this real motivation to make money to give her a better life. But you know, I interviewed the FBI, I interviewed authorities across the country and the world, and basically they said, you know, there's no high-end team that can find these cars. You know, that doesn't exist. The FBI has a stolen rare art squad that just focuses on that, but there's no equivalent for the world of cars. So if a $10 million car goes missing, there's one guy they call, and it's this broke detective in Miami who's trying to give his daughter a better life. So he was just a fascinating character, but interestingly, the alleged thief in the story turns out to have been his former best friend and actually a business partner. They worked together coming up in New Orleans in the world of buying and trading rare cars before Joe became a detective, and the other one became the subject of a global manhunt involving the FBI. So it's really an incredible story. You don't have to be a car person to like this. It's really about these 2 former friends turned worst enemies. That is the heart of the tale.
Well, I love cars. Never rode in a $7 million one, but I love cars. When we
Me neither.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Where is the car now? We saw that beautiful picture, which makes me think that someone has possession of it. Where is it right now?
So the car was found, and criminal cases are all done on it, but there is still ongoing litigation surrounding the exact who exactly owns it at this point. So it is in holding, overseen by the FBI, just outside of Boston in a garage.
How long has it been there?
It's been there for years.
Wow.
You know, this is basically a case involving, there's still litigation surrounding it, so it could be a while before it's resolved. But as you can see, it is beautiful. It's a car that Robert Report called the most beautiful model in the world. It is absolutely fantastic. 1938, designed by Figoni Falacci. Just an absolutely stunning piece of artwork that in the Downton Abbey era, you know, they used to parade around with these and have matching clothes that they would wear with the car. And then it was traded. It was in Los Angeles, owned by Hollywood moguls. And now it's in holding. But it's just an absolute piece of artwork. And once it's released, it's going to go on to win awards, I'm sure, around the world.
Any idea how many of these were made during that time? And how many are still around?
Yeah, that's a great question. And really that gets to the heart of the matter. What makes these cars valuable is there just isn't many of them. So it needs to have, number one, you know, have been involved in some piece of history. And then number two, these cars also need to have some type of engineering or you know, original aspect or beauty. There was just a handful of these cars originally, only two that actually had this specific type of racing motor. And you know, actually, you can go to the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles and see kind of a sister car to this vehicle. The last one that went for sale, actually a couple years ago, a very similar model sold for $14 million. So that just tells you how quickly these are rising in value. This car, when I started reporting, was worth $7 million. That's what it was purchased for. Now it could easily go 14, 15, maybe higher.
And what really determines that value rising? Is it the time? Is it who's connected to the vehicle? What is it that determines the value of it?
It's a great question. You know, I think you're seeing this space become more popular. There was just a report that came out a few years ago, again, detailing how very high-end rare cars have become the fastest rising valuable asset in the world, more than artwork, you know, watches, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's a small pool of people who are going to be spending this money. But if you look overarchingly, there's a lot more people with a lot more money around the world. And this is you know, it's kind of a gamble. I talked to one person who said, look, it's just a lot more fun than buying bonds, you know, or even a Picasso that I just hang on the wall. I'd rather buy one of these cars and then be able to drive it and enjoy it as well. And they do appreciate in value, just because is with any piece of art, there's just one or two or three of these. You know, there's very few. So if you are a collector and you're looking to purchase it, you know, there's just a limited supply relative to the demand. But it's funny too, because a lot of the really 100 millionaires, billionaires who buy these cars, they take them to these competitions in a Pebble Beach, in a Lake Como, and there's a real competitive atmosphere to it. You actually get the car inspected, just like a best in show at a dog show. They go through it with white gloves, and you know, you kind of drive it around. And there are real bragging rights, and so that is a competitive aspect to this. And sometimes in the pursuit for winning a blue ribbon, sometimes, you know, you buy a car that ends up being stolen.
Well, Staten, maybe we'll get our chance to own like something like this. You know, the Powerball is happening this weekend. Maybe if you play, maybe if I play, maybe we win. If you could get any car, this is the random question for you. After following this story, I'm sure you saw some other cars along the way. If you could own any luxury car, what car would it be?
No, it's a great question. Look, my book, The $1 Million Car Detective, available on Amazon right now. The end of the book details perhaps the most famous stolen car in the world, which is a 1965 Aston Martin DB5 that was used in the James Bond film Goldfinger. So there were two cars used in the movie Goldfinger that Sean Connery as James Bond drove around in. One was just the regular Aston Martin. Then the other one they had outfitted with all the machine guns and you know, blades that came out of the tires, the stunt car. That car ended up trading hands after the production, wound up being owned by a real estate developer in the Miami area, and that car was stolen in the middle of the night in a way very similar to the car from Milwaukee that's at the heart of this story. And I spoke with several investigators. There were a lot of theories. It was airlifted out in the night on a giant, you know, cargo plane. People think it's somewhere in the Middle East. But this Detective Joe, who I spoke with, had a brand new theory, and that's actually the end of my book, is kind of his next case, which is chasing James Bond's Goldfinger Aston Martin. And frankly, that's the one I'd like. That's it doesn't get cooler than that.
And so does that mean that you're going to have another book coming out that's about that story? Because that would be a great story to follow.
It would be, yeah. So if you're a James Bond fan, check out my book. I've got a whole new theory on that. But yeah, there's a lot of different car stories I share in there, and it really is a whole secret world I didn't know about before I started reporting it, but it's absolutely fascinating. Has a lot of really compelling tales. All these cars have incredible histories, right? Incredible stories, and it was really a lot of fun digging into those and sharing them with readers.
Yeah, I can't wait to go read your book. I'm going to go get it on Amazon, The $1 Million Car Detective by Staten Bonner. I want to ask you one final question before I let you go. During your research, did you see anything that was interesting in terms of how people secure their cars? You know, we're used to seeing, you know, on the streets of Chicago, maybe you have, you know, I forget what they call it, where they wrap it up and make sure it has that huge lock on it. Did you see anything like out of the ordinary, because these cars are so expensive?
Yeah, this is next level. That's a great question. But look, you know, I spoke with detectives and investigators in this, and what typically happens when a car like this gets stolen, and you are a person who can afford this, and you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars usually, honestly, if it gets stolen or there's any kind of question about it, you just pay it off. You write it off. Why? Because you don't want it in the news that the car was stolen, number one, because number two, people are then going to know that you have this private collection of cars worth tens of millions of dollars. There are these private garages all over the country nobody knows about. And they're literally, a lot of these collectors build these giant multi-story, you can imagine calling them like a giant man cave, but almost like these private museums full of these cars worth tens of millions of dollars. And you will never know about them. You might pass someone in a cool old car, you know, driving through Boca Raton or driving around Chicago, and you're like, wow, that's a neat car. What you don't know is that person then takes it home and drives it and parks it almost in their bat cave, secret bat cave, full of other cars. And these are literally private museums that no one knows about, but secrecy is the real key here. But it's absolutely fascinating, and I do go in the book into how some of these private collections are around the country, and it's absolutely amazing.
I got to read your book. I plan to go get it as soon as we're done with this interview. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on Chicago Now.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a lot of fun.
All right, let us know when you write the next book, because it sounds like there's a book 2 coming, maybe even a sequel of some sort.
I'd love to come back. Yeah, $1 Million Car Detective is out there now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, coming up next, we're going to be talking Illuminati. So we're talking all things cheese. This is really interesting. We'll have it for you right after this break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Yes, it is gooey. It is stretchy. Keep watching. And it's oh so satisfying. We're talking about the perfect cheese pull, and here to talk to me about it is Katie Maldonado. I could keep watching that. He was on a ladder just going higher and higher.
He goes all the way up.
We're talking Illuminatis today, and what is this all about, this challenge? What is this about?
Yeah, so we are celebrating National Cheese Pizza Day. And it is powered by Proudly Wisconsin Cheese. So we're really honoring this 50-year partnership that we've had with Wisconsin dairy farmers, whose milk really creates that authentic mozzarella cheese that are in all of our cheese pulls.
Perfect. So is this something where I can walk into one of your restaurants and participate in this?
Yeah, so no, it's social media.
Got it.
Okay, so we are asking for people to come in, order their favorite Lou Malnati's pizza, give it their best shot at home, maybe take a video, share it on Facebook, on Instagram, tag Lou Malnati's, and use the hashtag LMCheese poll challenge. And then they'll be entered to win free cheese pizza for a year.
Oh, that's a nice little,
Yes.
you know, reward. So let me ask you this. If this was an Olympic sport, what would you be looking for the best cheese pull? So people out there that go try to do this know exactly what they're being judged on.
Yes, so we would be looking for stretch.
Okay.
So how high can they go? And yeah, just showing off that quality of the cheese.
Was that real? I mean, I can't believe
Yes.
that person was on a ladder and...
That was real. So that was Eric at our Brookfield, Wisconsin store. And he created that video for us. I mean, that was fresh out of the oven, loaded with cheese, but it was fun to watch.
So is this a situation where when you order the pizza, you should order extra cheese to get an advantage, maybe?
Yeah, if you want to order some extra cheese, that's not a bad idea.
Well, tell me about, it seems as though a lot of businesses are really, taking social media and embracing it. Why is it so important for a business to have such a huge presence on social media right now?
Yeah, so, I think it's important for us, we really want to show off the quality of our products. And, we at Malnati's, they have a commitment to just using quality ingredients. And, we have had this partnership with a local Wisconsin dairy farmer for over 50 years. And we're really focused on that quality, and we want to show it off on social media.
Is this the first time that you're doing the cheese pool challenge? Because I know you do different challenges throughout the course of the year. Is this the first time?
Yeah, so this is for National Cheese Pizza Day.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Which is?
Today.
Today, perfect.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
so would you like to try?
I guess. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna mess this up, but let's try. So what's the key here?
Okay.
How do you do it?
So what you want to do?
Zoom in on this.
Yeah. So what you want to do, and I'm no expert.
I'm gonna follow you first.
I'm no expert. You really want to get in there and break up the crust.
Okay.
In the back.
So I'm gonna go here.
Yep. Follow that line. And then you want to just kind of push
this
through.
This is some work, girl. This is like a workout.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're gonna push through there.
Ooh, this is cheesy.
And
do
then,
I get to eat my piece after?
Oh, you get to eat it.
Okay. All right.
And what you want to do is you want to just pull nice
you might have to stand
slow.
up.
I know. Let's see how high. Okay.
Okay, you did pretty well.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. Okay, that's actually fun.
Yeah,
this is actually
it's
to do.
fun.
I should probably go next to you though.
Yes.
Because I feel like if I go next to you, that'll be better.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's already kind of.
It's already halfway there. Yep.
All right. Let's see what we can do here.
Out.
I thought I was so strong.
You got this.
Okay.
All right.
I don't want to have to stand up, but let's see. So you dig in. Ooh, I'm not good at this. Okay,
you
dig in and you
I know
just
it
pull
takes
up.
practice. Yep, you just pull up. Let's see. I got you. I got you over here.
Oh, it's smoking too. Here we go. I'm gonna do it real slow. I'm still holding on. Don't you try to stop me, Katie.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah.
That is really fun. I like that. So is this just today? How long does this challenge go?
Yeah, so it runs through September 10th.
Okay, September 10th. So people have a few days to get in on the action.
Get in on the action.
Hashtag
LM Cheese Pull Challenge.
Okay, so we're talking about this. What else is coming up? I mean, we're moving into fall. I mean, it almost practically feels like it outside. And winter's coming too. Anything else going on in the world of Malnati's?
Yes, so lots going on at Malnati's. So the month of September, we're actually inviting the community to support cancer research through various initiatives at Malnati's. So we have our Dessert to Donate campaign. So for every dessert that people purchase, we will provide $1 to the Malnati's Research Cancer Foundation.
Wow, that's awesome. How long have you guys been doing that?
I believe
a very long time.
Yeah, the foundation has been since 1971.
Okay,
yes.
got it.
You can also purchase donation circles at our store or round up to the nearest dollar, and this will all go back to cancer research.
The restaurant is so popular as it is, right? You have tourists, you have people that it's been their mainstay, the place that they've gone really their entire lives. Why do you feel the need to still do so much for the community? Because really, the business, I would think in a lot of ways would still exist. People would still be coming.
Yeah, I think, it's really ingrained in our culture. Lou and Jean Malnati really have that tradition of generosity that we kind of carry throughout the community, giving back through fundraising and charitable events as well.
Okay, I love it. What kind of pizza is this that we're
So that is a cheese pizza.
This is straight up cheese.
Straight up cheese.
Okay, let me get a little taste. I don't think I've ever had cheese pizza from Malnati's. No, ever. I think I've always gotten sausage and cheese. I'm gonna take a little.
How is it?
Like breakfast in the morning.
There you go. Yep.
You guys wanna get some? Yes. Can I get a round of applause? Now I can't continue the show because I'm eating. Where can people go to find out more on your social media?
Yeah, so check out our social media. That video is posted. And then, it's in partnership with Proudly Wisconsin Cheese. So we are just, talking about the quality of their cheese. Fun fact about Wisconsin, it is the only state that requires a license to make cheese. So that quality is great. Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means that someone's going to check out the product before it makes it to the masses?
It is
like certified.
It's quality.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you coming to try it? Okay, you gonna try a pool? Okay, we gotta get a plate for you. Do we have a plate over there, Jenna?
Here you go.
So the lady can try it with us?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. We'll just
All right, are you going to try a poll?
I'm gonna
Try a poll. I'm gonna
All
try
right,
a
let's
poll.
see it.
Yeah, let's see how it goes here.
For this one over.
Delaney is one of the amazing people that helps put Chicago Now on. Give that a round of applause. I think it's back there. Okay, come on, Delaney, you got it.
Oh, I don't
You might have to
Yep,
cut a
there you
little bit.
go.
Oh, you got it. Okay,
got
keep
it.
going, keep going. Slow, 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 slow.
There you go.
So
That's a good one.
She
I think
won.
you're the winner.
You're the winner. The cheese
right.
stayed, but
Free cheese pizza for a year.
she grabbed her chest like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So how does that work with the free pizza, cheese pizza for a year? So does that mean you could come every week and get a pizza? Is it every month? How does that
Every
work?
month.
Every
One-
month.
Yep, one free cheese
One
pizza
free
for a
cheese
year. Mm-hmm.
pizza every month. Wow. Okay, so 12.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and I recommend if people aren't a part of our loyalty program to sign up because there are a lot of rewards and promotions that they can receive as well.
Perfect. I love
Yeah.
that. And so that's is that through an app or is that straight through the website?
Through the website.
Through the website.
Malnatis.com
So sign up.
rewards. Yep.
All right. Well, we thank you for being with us. That was absolutely amazing. The pizza tastes good. And yeah, participate in the challenge. You said they have what, until the 10th?
Until the 10th.
Until the 10th. So you got to get in on the action now.